So for this video, it's story time. I want to steer away from sports for the purpose of this, and I wanted to talk about an experience of mine in my life that I really wanted to share. I've shared this via the written word, and I've shared it face to face with people. I don't think I've really shared this on the internet, but here I am. And today I wanted to talk about my live experience going to a taping of The Price is Right with Bob Barker as the host. This whole thing was truly one of the more transformative things of my life, as goofy or silly as it sounds. This was an experience I will absolutely never forget as long as I live. But for some context, let me rewind back to when I was a kid. I've always been a fan of, hype, hoopla, loud noises, excitement. These are things that really kick-started interest in sports, but also in The Price is Right. The crowds, the screaming, the hysteria, just the games they play, the will they or won't they, all these elements are what really drew me into the show. And as a kid, during the summer, those sick days, more likely than not, I was watching the show. And as somebody who grew up in small towns, the whole I guess big city glamorous aspect of it all was something that just seemed, I guess, so far away, unattainable. It was like, who are these people inside my TV box, and how do I become one of them? But it wasn't really something I pursued too much as far as actually going to the show. It seemed kind of like a silly dream. But anyway, time marched on, and I got older, and I remember it was the fall of 2006. I was on an internet message board, and I found out that Bob Barker was retiring. And at that time, I was thinking, I've got to do this. I've got to go out and see him and see a taping of the show. I have to make this happen. It was one of those things where it's just you find something you want to do or experience, you kick the can down the road, and then finally something happens like this news that really jumpstarts, things and ideas. So from there, an idea was born. And in March of 2007, and I felt so weird doing this, I wrote the self-addressed stamped envelope to Tickets, The Price is Right, CBS Television City, 7800 Beverly Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90036. Put that sucker in the mail, and I want to say a month later, I got my tickets in the mail, which just seemed absolutely absurd. But there it was there in front of me. It was one ticket for May 17th. I had requested tickets for the prior day as well, but I don't think they had any more. So it was me, myself, and I, one ticket to a live taping on May 17th, 2007. I remember taking that ticket with me out to the bars that night, and I was showing everybody that interested, uninterested. It was definitely a talking point of mine. And as the date drew closer, I flew out to San Diego, spent a few days there, went to a couple Reds Padres baseball games, took the Amtrak, and at this point, let me back up a second. I took the Amtrak from San Diego to Los Angeles. By this point, I don't know if it really hit me yet, but then I get to the train station in Los Angeles, and I remember telling the taxi cab driver 7800 Beverly Boulevard, and it just seems so fake almost. And sure enough, we're going through the city streets, and then I see the corner of Beverly and Fairfax, and I see the CBS Television City marquee, and it's just, the whole thing is just, at this point, it's starting to get really insane. And I thought back to my prior childhood self, thinking about this, being there, partaking in this, and here it was in front of me. I was there at CBS Television City, the corner of Beverly and Fairfax, and it was just, I don't know if I can really put into words how this felt. So I got out of the taxi, I saw the line, I was the 52nd person in line, and it's just, at this point, I'm just like, am I really here doing this? Is this happening? And so, 4:30 in the afternoon on Wednesday, May 16th, keep in mind, 22 hours in advance. It's first come, first serve. I knew that from my internet research. So I'm there in line, 22 hours to kill. So what do? I just start talking to the people around me. This is a little bit before the smartphone era, so people weren't like plugged into all that. We're talking to each other, getting people's life stories. The line grows, day turns into night, and it wraps all the way around the sidewalk. Now, I guess one of my regrets from all of this is that I was by myself. And I did meet people there, but I didn't keep in touch with them. So this isn't something I can really ever go back and talk to with anybody. But the whole thing was just magical. Like, it really was. The line for The Price is Right. I mean, we're all just like losing our minds here. And like I mentioned, no smartphones, no, Instagram moments, anything like that. So, I'm just walking up and down the sidewalk. I had my spot saved. I met some nice people online because, we kind of had a non-verbal agreement. Hey, if we need to go to the restroom, go across the street to the gas station, whatever, we'll watch your spot. But when I'm walking around, I'm talking to people, young and old, college kids, elderly people, and just the shared unity that we all had, just being in line, it was really unbelievable. And so this continued throughout the night, and then it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure of it. It was very early in the morning. It was the first round of, I guess, pre-production. They came out, they talked to us, and then they sent us on our way for a little bit. And I met some really nice people who let me take a quick shower in their hotel. And by this point, I'd been up all night, and I was tired, but I was very wide awake as well, because here I was about to go to the freaking Price is Right. Like, it was just an insane feeling. And so we returned to the studio, and I had already known about the process of waiting in line and the contestant interviews. And so, I'm thinking about what to say. And at the time, I just finished college with my degree in elementary education. Meet the producer. He's like, "Where are you from and what do you do?" I tell him my background. I'm like, "Well, really, I just want to become the next kindergarten cop. I don't quite have Arnold's muscles yet, but he got, a little chuckle out of that, and then it kept moving." They were looking for people with personality. They were looking for certain elements. I mean, I had no idea if I had what they were looking for or whatnot. I mean, there's over 300 people. They pick 9, I believe. I can't remember the exact number, but so the process keeps moving, and we get closer and closer to the main entrance of the Bob Barker studio, and all of this just keeps building and building and building. And it's just like the excitement of being there and realizing a childhood dream of mine. And then we finally get to the main entrance. Like, they kind of shuffled us like cattle. We went from one place to another. We walk up the stairs to the Bob Barker studio. I'll never forget this as long as I live. Walking through those doors and seeing the set of The Price is Right. The gaudy curtains, the stage. It was absolutely insane. I highly recommend to anybody, if there's something that you've really loved, that you've seen on TV, like a million times, to see that very thing in person is just a mind-blowing experience. And so I'm just like looking around in total awe. First off, the stage is a lot smaller than one might think. So that's one thing I noticed. And then they start kind of getting people ramped up for the beginning of the show. They got music playing, people are clapping, chanting, the PA announcer saying a bunch of different things to prepare people. And then all of a sudden, the show starts. I mean, it is the loudest experience I've ever had in my entire life. People are losing their minds. The camera's pointing at the first 4 contestants. I could have sworn they were pointing at me. And the guy next to me who I became friends with was like, "Dude, I think they're pointing the camera right at you." Sure enough, it was the girl next to me. And I kind of felt then that it wasn't going to happen. Like, I was going to be picked. But I was okay with that. So they're holding up the cue cards with the first 4 contestants because it's so loud. And then Bob freaking Barker walks through those double doors. And it was just, to see this happening, to see the old man himself coming out there. People are just freaking out, myself included. It was just crazy. As for the show itself, it really was an hour. Like, it's an hour on TV, and the production itself was an hour. But just to see all this with my own 2 eyes, not on a television set. Seeing the production of the show, seeing the games backstage, you kind of knew what was going to happen next. On TV, it's a surprise. In person, it was you knew what was going to happen, but it didn't really take away from any of the magic. But during the breaks, Bob was answering questions from the fans, and just to see him right there, like he's like 20 feet away from me, just totally crazy. Show wraps up. Nobody really won anything too big, in my recollection. But after the show ends, double overbid on the showcase. When that happens, Bob walks through the audience, and only then, I believe, did he walk through the audience. He comes up to my group, shakes my hand. He's like, "Wow, you're a tall fella there." That's what he says to me, and I'm like, "Bob, it's an honor to meet you, and I'm so glad to be here and that I could experience this." And sure enough, they sent us on our way, and it was this is all a tale that I will tell forever. Just to be able to experience this, to be part of this, to take place in a unique bucket list item experience. And no, I didn't get up on stage, which of course is a dream to go in there and win a car, but it was something that I made happen. And just like I said, to be there, to be caught up in the excitement, to have the Price is Right studio, the stage, Bob Barker, right in front of my eyes. Like it was just, I will never forget this as long as I live. But yeah, I just want to come in here and share this epic tale that I've told in person many times, written blogs about, but I wanted to share it in video form. I know I'm rambling here. I know this is long, but I just felt like compelled to share this today. But if anybody has any comments or anything to leave behind, questions about the experience, I recapped this the best I could and tried to share my passion and my heartfelt experience with this moment. But possible to do so, but I tried my best. But anyway, thank you guys for listening to all this. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.